Okay, y'all. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Salina's World. And what's good in the morning time for breakfast? But biscuits and gravy. I've got a few friends coming over for breakfast, so I'm going to make them a good buttermilk biscuits, some country gravy, and some eggs. So let's get started on the biscuits. So I'm going to pull you around here. Touch you down here to where you can see what I'm doing. First of all, what you'll need is 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. You'll need 1 teaspoon of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 2 tablespoons of baking powder. Just pop that in there. Okay. And give that a good turn in there to make sure it's all combined real good. Now I do have another half a cup of flour here for the dusting when I go to roll it out a little bit. And if you do not have buttermilk, what you can do is take a cup of regular milk and a tablespoon of white vinegar and make that, just pour it in the white vinegar in your milk and just stir it just a little bit to coat it. And I don't know if you can see here, but it'll start curdling a little bit. Just let that sit for about 5 or 10 minutes, and that will sit for just a little bit and just start to curdle. And that will make buttermilk for you. After you whisk this in a little bit, stir it in, make sure it's all combined. You pour, nice cold, very cold butter. 8 tablespoons would be 1 stick. Now I keep mine in the freezer to make sure it's nice and cold. And then what I do is I take it and I will slice it into these little bitty chunks like this, and just pop them in there a little bit, all over, not in one spot. And yes, I use my hands. That's the only way you can do biscuits, is to use your hands so you can feel what you're doing. Because buttermilk flaky biscuits has to be done a certain way to get the proper flakes. So you got to make sure these are all clumped up. Once you get them all in here, all over, I'll show you what to do in just a second. Okay. Now make sure all those pieces of butter is nice and coated. I know a lot of recipes say make sure that they go into little pea size. No, if you want good buttermilk biscuits, you take your coated butter and just smash just a little bit, like this. Just smash it with in between your fingers, and just drop it back in. This is where I tell you, you got to have your fingers, because you don't want to get them into little pea sizes, but you don't want them in big chunks either. Once you smash all your butter in, you need to leave them in these smashed chunks. Because when they cook in the oven, that butter will melt. And that's what makes the flakes. Make it nice and flaky. But if you put them into too small pieces, then it doesn't melt right.
Morning, honey.
Good morning. My company's here. I don't know if she wants to be on video, but...
I'll sneak around. What you making?
Biscuits.
Ooh. Your bedroom moved here in a bit. We'll be back in about an hour.
Okay, I'm almost done here, and I'll show you what it looks like. Gotta make sure you get all these chunks. Smash them just a little bit. Then you gotta coat them again with this flour. Okay, we're ready here. Okay, this is what you're looking for. See these chunks of butter? They're not all smashed up into little pea sizes. This is what will make your biscuits flaky. Now make a little well in the middle and pour your buttermilk in there. And you don't want to overmix this either. It will be a little sticky, but once you put it on the counter and put the dusting flour on it, it will come together. Okay, I'm going to bring you back in just one moment. Okay, I'm back. Now, see how that is not all put together? Once you put this on your counter and used your dusting flour, it will all come together. I'm going to dust it here. And I'm going to put all this on my counter. And scrape out your bowl. Okay. Now just coat your hands a little bit with the flour. And just fold a little bit in. Just fold it and it'll all come together. Take it off your fingers. And as you go, if you think you need a little more flour, just add a little more flour just for your dusting. And just fold that in. You don't want to work your biscuits too much because that's what makes it tough. See how that is coming together? And just rub your fingers together and get all that good biscuit off. And just fold it in. Fold about, I'd say 7 to 10 times. And see, then it's not so sticky anymore. See that? And then I'll put it in to probably a rectangle here. Coat your rolling pin. Put a little more on your dough here. and roll it out to about a 1/2 inch thick. You don't want them too thin. If you can see all these little clumps in here, that's that butter. And when that melts, that's going to be what makes your flakes. Then you take your little cutting cookie cutter, and I've got 2 pans here because I'll show you what I'm going to do with them. Since there's only going to be 3 of us for breakfast, I'm going to save the rest of the biscuits in the freezer. Now you put your cookie cutter straight down, do not turn. If you turn that, will seal the sides. You put your biscuit down like that. Now I didn't have a round cookie cutter, so I had a little oval one. But when I pull it up, I just make them round. And I want to put 6 on my cookie sheet, 2 each for us today. And then I'll show you what I do with the rest of them. Make that into a round. Now you don't want to fold out this any much more, because the more you mess with this dough, the more tough they will get. So try to only do it maybe twice. Okay, there's our 6 biscuits, and I'm going to put them in the oven at 425 for about 10 to 20 minutes. Just keep an eye on it. Make sure it's golden brown. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take some melted butter or milk, which I will use some melted butter here. We get this soft. I'm going to soften up the butter a little bit here. Okay, I soften this up just a little bit in the microwave. What I do is I just take a little bit of this butter here and I rub it on top. Now I'll put this in the oven. Okay, now with the rest of these, what I'm going to do is I'm going to freeze them. And that way, once I put them on another cookie sheet, and I put the whole cookie sheet in the freezer, and then I will freeze those just like that. And when they're nice and froze, then I will take them off the cookie sheet and put them in a baggie. And that way when I want biscuits and gravy again, or just biscuits, I will take that out of the bag and cook 1 or 2 of them up. This is just me for the day. And I don't have to cook the whole batch of biscuits up all at once and waste them. Okay. I think I can get one more little good one out of this. Just kind of form it together a little bit. Make it into a ball. Flatten it to about your 1/2 inch. Yes. That'll make a pretty good biscuit. And I'll have a baby biscuit. Now I'll just put these in my freezer. Once they're frozen, I'll put them in a baggie. And that's all there is to it. Okay, I'm back. Let's get these out of the oven. Let's see what they look like. Oh, goodness. Look at these biscuits. Nice. I'll let them cool off for just a few minutes and I'll show you, because they're really hot right now. I'll show you what they look like in just a few minutes. Okay, let's start on this gravy. Now these biscuits, they turned out really good. Look at that. Nice and soft and fluffy. Delicious too. So let's start on this gravy. Now I take some Jimmy Dean breakfast sausage. And I get the big roll of breakfast sausage. And I cut them into little squares, enough just to make one thing of gravy at a time. And wrap them up nicely. And put them in my freezer. That way I don't have to, since it's just me, or if I have company, then I'll take out maybe 2 of them. Because right now, for just 3 people, this is going to do good for about 2 cups of milk. So we're going to smash this up and brown it up real good. And I make sure I get it into little pieces, because I don't like big chunks of sausage. Now I'll bring you back in just a minute as I brown this up. Okay, y'all, this looks like it's just about ready. The sausage is nice and browned up. Now I did add about a tablespoon of vegetable oil, because this Jimmy Dean was lean enough that it wasn't producing any oils. So I added just about a tablespoon of vegetable oil to it. Now I'm going to take about a tablespoon and a half to 2 tablespoons of flour and just shake it over the meat. Make a nice little coating. Now this will adhere to the bottom of the pan. Don't worry about that, because as soon as you put that milk in it, it will come off, and that's what your flavor's going to be, is all that coating on that bottom of the pan. Good 2 tablespoons would be nice. And the browner you make this flour, the more flavor you're going to get. Let's let this brown up a little bit. Now while we let this cook a little bit and brown up, I would like to do a little bit of shout out to a couple channels. Now RidgeLife, I want to say thank you for supporting my channel. If you haven't subscribed to RidgeLife's channel yet, you need to go and subscribe to RidgeLife. He is true to his word. Now, he is a homesteading channel. And if you like that kind of graphics, then please go and subscribe to him. Journey along with Shannon. She's a true good woman, and that's her channel. I will leave all these channels down in the description below. She's very nice. I've met RidgeLife. I've met Journey Along with Shannon. And Tea with Tina Tuesdays. She has a great channel too. So if you have not subscribed to any of their channels, please go check them out and subscribe. Because the more you subscribe, these channels, the better their channel gets. So, that's okay. Now this looks pretty good to me. I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper to this. It's about a teaspoon, maybe a little less, of salt and pepper. And I like a little bit of garlic and onion powder, so I'll sprinkle a little bit of that in here. Stir that up nicely. And that's got a nice good brown look to this flour. I'm going to add 2 cups of milk to this. And I'm going to stir as I add it, so it don't clump up. And do your scraping on the bottom. Make sure you get all that good flavor off the bottom of your pan. This is some delicious gravy. You let this heat up to a nice little boil, and the more it heats up, the thicker it will get. Now I use this whisk the whole time, so I make sure I get all the good flavor off the bottom of the pan. And when you first pour in this milk, you need to constantly stir it so it don't lump up while it's heating. Okay, I'm gonna, while this heats up, I will bring you back and show you the end result. Okay, now this is looking really good, nice and thick. So all you have to do now is put it on your biscuits and enjoy. Turn that off. Put this in a bowl. See, once you put that milk in, all that has adhered to the bottom has come up to join the milk and make the good flavor. So. And there's your bowl of gravy. Nice and thick. I'd like to say thank you for joining me, and like and subscribe and hit that notification bell for my next video. Have a good day. Thank you. Bye.